that, of course, we always are living in these rich multi-species worlds, but we've somehow been trained to focus almost usually exclusively on humans or humans and how we use other beings for food or making the materials that are all around us. And here it's interesting, right? Like we have this this table, which is designed to perfectly simulate the grain of wood, but it's made of some plastic. So it's another step back to when this was plastic that came from petroleum that was originally wood. So this is wood into plastic into like paper. So we're surrounded in our lives by all of these other beings, but it's easy to kind of forget those histories, those connections when we're in these very human-created spaces, these boxes that we live in, that we have classes in, the boxes on wheels that we travel in or on rails, such as the train. But yeah, I was definitely interested in moving away from a kind of project that was only human, or then human with other living beings that kept centering humans as the key protagonist. So I don't know if any of you have been reading at all some of the Bruno Latour's After Network theory, or other people that have been involved in that theory. And it's really interesting, right, where it does do something where it says it's not just humans that have all the agency, humans that are the sole actors. It says when, for example, when scientists are doing research on a disease, we also have to then look at like the sheep that are the experimental subjects of that disease. The disease itself, say it's a bacterium, the role of the microscope. And so in the After Network theory, you think about how you actually have to create this network in order to be producing knowledge. But in that network, I noticed that even though you pay attention to what those other objects and other living beings do, you still tend to prioritize and privilege humans as the one making all those connections. So then I was interested in trying to think of other ways of approaching the research where it wasn't just humans that were building all the networks around. So even one of the most kind of innovative theoretical frameworks that got us away from an anthropocentric or human-centered way of understanding still in some ways tended to kind of really privilege humans as the main actors in history. So for me, and this book project, I was trying to really wrestle with the question of what happens when we're talking about a space where humans aren't even physically present. So humans have probably, shaped that broader ecology. They shaped, obviously, that broader atmosphere with climate change and everything else. But they're not always on the scene. So just thinking about these mushrooms that are up in the highlands of the Himalayas, there are many places where these mushrooms grow and humans never get to. So many of the mushrooms' lives from when they fruit from underground to then they finally rot after engaging with insects and kind of morph back into the soil. They have no connection to human activities. So it's really curious, like, could I try to understand what that existence was in some way, or what those connections were, without always kind of re-centering the story around humans. So it's just a kind of an experiment.
I was wondering, like, how would you, I know this is like a very big topic, a big question, but how does one do multi-species technology?
How do you not approach it or negotiate your consensus between your collaboration with scientists, especially they have presumptions and biases that rely upon like visual image, and those set of apparatus are highly rely upon like visual and sensory based on visible images and rather than other kind of sensory experience.
So the first question is about you as a writer, writing military speeches ethnography. What's your strategy to doing that, or what's your intention? And the second thing is about the readers. How do scientists think about your work? Do they think about you are just using the perspective of social scientists represent or to repeat what they've already done? Do they acknowledge your achievement? So it's more about the reader's feedback.
My question is, do you face this kind of challenges when you encounter with this material thing? You are also a human being, is also a material, is also constituted by material. So that the agency of the cell and the agency of that plant, when they encounter, what happened? And so my question is, how do you understand agency between inside the process